Hello and welcome everyone back to a mini-series I am doing on the Radious mod. We are going to be going over the Kislev unit since we are going to be soon to be playing a Horus Ursus narrative campaign. Figured we'd go over the units that we will be using that are going to be different than the normal Kislev roster. We already have a video live on the new infantry units that is going to be linked in a card above and in the description. But for this episode we will be going over the missile troops. There are a total of 4 that will be coming with the Radious mod. All of the ones that the Radious mod is adding are going to be in the tier 3 buildings and above. So they are going to be quite powerful and have a actually pretty varied suite of abilities here. So let's get to the first one. Starting off with the Armored Kossar Archers. These are going to be just your Armored Kossars equipped with a bow instead of a pistol. They are going to be recruitable from your tier 3 barracks, the Kasern, or from your tier 4 settlement building. This would be only in those major settlements, but at tier 4 you can recruit the whole suite of Kossars, and so the archers would be included in that. And as previously said, these are just Kossars, but these are wielding bows and arrows, so they have the same 94 armor that the normal Kossars have, the same amount of speed as pretty much all the other Kislev units. Their melee stats are about the same as the woodsmen, so you kind of want to keep them out of melee, but if they do get into it, they will not just melt away like normal archers will. They've got 32 ammunition, so quite a few arrows, 170 range, which is pretty nice, and then they have a 23 missile strength, with 6 of that being armor piercing. So just if you're wanting to use more of an archer line and you're not really quite to where you have the ice guard yet, or you don't really like the ice guard just because of the unit count, you have the armored Kossars. A pretty decent and pretty heavily armored archer that is just going to struggle against other armor, so it will probably want to be phased out once you have access to some of the more armor piercing missile troops, but they are very good when fighting against anything that has low armor, and they can absorb some fire in return, kind of similarly to how Cathay's Jade Crossbowmen are. And next is going to be the Criminal Guard with rifles. This is going to be a gun, great axe infantry. And then for their stats, they are going to have 108 armor, same as the rest of their Criminal Guard brethren. They've got 80 leadership, 30 speed, since they're a little bit more heavily armored. Their melee attack and defense are very similar to the Tsar Guard, with 34 in the melee attack and 38 in the defense. They at least do have a frostbite attack, so they'll be slowing down and weakening ever so slightly anyone that they do come into contact with a 35% drop to speed and a 5% to both melee attack and defense. They also are going to have an armor piercing attack of 25, since they are wielding those great axes. They are going to also have 32 ammunition, 160 range on those rifles, and then their armor-piercing missile strength will also come with a shield breaker that will lower the enemy's ability to block even further. And same as their Criminal Guard, they are going to cause the enemy fear when they come into contact with them. The best way to describe these guys is a more heavily armored, a more angry Streltsy. But their shield breaker ammunition will allow other archers and the like to actually get those arrows in where they normally wouldn't. Next being probably my favorite new missile troop, being the Torch Bearers of Daj. These are some ice guard that traded in their frosty bows for some with a bit more sizzle. Both their melee attack and ammunition are going to be fire-based. Their missile strength and weapon strength are going to be anti-infantry, and they are going to discourage anyone they shoot with those arrows. I didn't even worry about the rest of their stats, I just saw anti-infantry arrows and weapon strength, and that pretty much sold it. In case you needed more reasons to like this unit, they have immune to psychology, they've got a fire resistance of 50%, and they will also be causing fear. Their only real downside being that they have pretty low armor, and a low model count. And then the final new unit is the Sons of Ursun wielding javelins. We've got the Monster Hunters of the Bear God. These guys are going to be pretty deadly at bringing down large targets. They've got 112 armor, same as their counterpart, 30 speed, they've got a 40 to their melee attack, so once they do get into combat, they are really not going to have too much trouble chopping fools down. They have a frostbite attack, of course. They've got 51 melee defense. They are packing 26 javelins, which is quite insane. They have 120 range, and then their missile strength is going to be 49, with armor piercing, bonus versus large, and frostbite. They're going to be incredible at bringing down single entity monsters that are large. They will slow them down. They have that anti-large and armor piercing getting through any thick hide. They're going to be incredible. Extra abilities these boys come with is Strider, so they have no penalties for moving across the terrain. 20% missile resistance, so they actually can shrug off some missile fire in return. And they cause fear. All in all, 4 incredible new units, and I cannot wait to get to using each and every one of them. And personally, I am going to be beelining as fast as I can for having a combined force of the Torchbearers of Daj and those Sons of Ursun with the Javelins. I think there is going to be very few things that even reach our front line with that combination. But that's all for now. Let me know in the comments which of these units intrigued you the most. But I have been Space Wars in Total War. Remember to leave a like for the like god and a sub for the sub zone, and I will see you on the next one.